Hello everyone, Joy here, and today I want to welcome you to a very special video. Exciting because, as you can see, I'm not in my usual locale, and the next few videos won't be. They will be here. Try and excuse the light, it's the best I can do. Also try and excuse the small speech impediment that I have, because I just got my lip pierced and it's a little bit tricky to talk. But we're going to get through this. So, the theme this year for Pride is #Pride Matters, and I want to talk about why it does. Before I go to London Pride, I want to explain why it's important to me. So, firstly, what is Pride? Well, Pride is not just an excuse to parade around, marching through major cities and towns, while dressed up in an orgy of colours and glitter. Although, let's face it, that does happen. Often, frequently. We love it. It's great. The origins of Pride start on June the 28th, 1969, when a group of LGBT plus people rebelled after a police raid on the Stonewall Inn, which was, at that time, the largest gay establishment in the US in the mid to late 60s. Favourable because dancing was permitted. And just like other LGBT plus establishments at the time, though, it was subject to common police raids. So, what happened was more protests and riots followed, which was the driving force for organised Pride marches. On November the 2nd, a demonstration was proposed to be held annually on the last Saturday of June in New York City to commemorate the 1969 spontaneous demonstrations on Christopher Street, and this was to be called Christopher Street Liberation Day. The organisers also proposed to contact and suggest to other LGBT plus organisations throughout the US that they hold parallel demonstrations on that date. Believing that more people would turn up for the march on a Sunday and mark the date of the start of the Stonewall Uprising, they scheduled the date for Sunday, June the 28th, 1970. Brenda Howard needs credit for being the coordinator for much of the work for the march, including popularising the word Pride alongside other activists, and crediting June as Pride Month. The first Gay Pride March in New York City was a success, and garnered a lot of support from onlookers and met very little resistance. Los Angeles and San Francisco also held marches that weekend. The next year, marches spread to Boston, Dallas, Milwaukee, Paris, West Berlin, Stockholm, and London. The first London Pride rally was held on the 1st of July 1972, and approximately 2,000 participants showed up. However, a few marches 2 years earlier had also happened on a smaller scale. Numbers grew after 1988, opposing the controversial Section 28, and Pride in London has grown even further ever since. Pride is a celebration of all members of the LGBT plus community and their allies, and we come together to revel in our diversity. No matter what borders may divide us, be they geographical, political, religious, or anything else, we share this common bond, a fundamental part of who we are. We are able to congregate like this because of our shared cultural heritage. Those pioneers who came before us, marching and protesting in the streets for their rights, our rights, and the rights of generations to come to live unencumbered lives, free from persecution, victimization, and systemic injustices. We have, as the LGBT plus community, the same social equal standing and liberties as everyone else. So why do we need to keep up the tradition of celebrating Pride events? I mean, we've arrived, haven't we? No. Despite the laws of the UK being on our side in terms of equal marriage rights and the crackdown on hate crimes, that doesn't stop some people from bullying others for their differences. I mean, take for example racial discrimination. It's still illegal, but it hasn't eradicated racism entirely. It's kind of the same thing, because discrimination is discrimination. However, by continuing to march, we remain visible to our society so that we may continue to shift perception of us to a more accepting and tolerant place. We continue to send the message to all those who are LGBT+ and can't be here with us. That message is that you are not alone. No matter how isolated you feel, and it is a very lonely place to be feeling like the only one, the only gay in the village, so to speak, it's still, even if you are, and even if you know no one else in a similar situation to yours, we are here. Somewhere in the world, there are people who understand and have first-hand knowledge and experience of what you are going through. So, by marching publicly, we are also sending this message across the world to countries so deeply steeped in conservatism and twisted religious views that there is nothing wrong here. Society isn't crumbling. We celebrate who we are and champion diversity, and it's a great thing. How dare they stifle the lives and the rights of others? How dare they punish people for some aspect of their personality that they have no choice in making? We also recognise the achievements of those places that do right by us. So, for example, what happened to me last year when I marched with the Queer Alternative, we were actually positioned behind the Canada bus, which had on it the slogan, 12 years marriage equality, or 11 years, however many years it was written on there, and that was also really great. So, when you see us march, and we look like we're happy, and we are having a good time, it's because we've had so many bad experiences that we take what we can get, we take the love that we have for ourselves, put it out there on display, and we get love back in return. And that's a really great thing. Also, the question needs to be answered, why is there no straight pride? Well, the simple answer is, there is no need for it. Straight pride is just a reaction by anti-LGBT+ movements, and there is absolutely no shame in being heterosexual. It's sort of missing the point, because no one has ever been persecuted solely on the basis of being heterosexual or cisgender. And to suggest that there is a need for straight pride is disingenuous to all LGBT+ folks who have suffered injustices based solely on sexuality or gender. For example, in countries like Turkey and Uganda, recent attempts in the past 2 years, 3 years, to hold gay pride events have either failed or are dismissed by the authorities. To all of those religious types who would remind you that pride is a sin, according to the holy books, well, yeah, so is being gay, but times change. If someone is a Christian and they believe that Jesus died for our sins, then it's all kind of a wash anyway. I don't really understand why there's a big deal anymore. If they actually read their book, they'd understand it. But notwithstanding, it's not that kind of self-absorbed pride. It is an unselfish giving. By taking pride in ourselves and our accomplishments and the struggles of our antecedents, we give inner strength and self-esteem to others like us. And that's a beautiful thing. Kind of like a rainbow is. Anyway, that's all from me for now. I will see you soon.